All right, now we're going to get into some of my stuff.
Go ahead, I'll just sit back and watch.
You're brave. All right, the first one, which I think, to me, some of these things reading between the lines are very fascinating. And like this, they don't even beat around the bush, haha. Huh. They just kind of...
They didn't beat around.
No, they just tell it outright. Well, this one is a new television show that some of you may have watched by now because it aired Sunday, October 28th, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Discovery Channel's Curiosity series. This one is called Brainwashed. Now, this was very fascinating. And this is from their press release article. It says, "Are we truly in command of our own minds? Can a word or gesture turn us into puppets for others to control? Can ordinary citizens be brainwashed to carry out assassination?" To find out, there was a leading team of experts and research pulling off an experiment to see if ordinary, law-abiding citizens can be brainwashed to take action beyond their control and turned into assassins. This series follows a group of individuals who agree to participate in a televised study about hypnosis. Now, what's interesting is there was a little segment on the YouTube channel about this, and one of the people involved, one of the hypnotherapists, said, "Oh, we take great care to make sure that the cameramen and all the production people are not hypnotized, so we do all kinds of tests at the end of the day to make sure they're not affected." So this is telling you right now, yes, they are affected. So what are they going to do about it? They're obviously not going to tell you. Anyway, each person is asked to complete a series of increasingly demanding tasks designed to whittle down the most susceptible to hypnosis and then commanded to kill. In this groundbreaking experiment, Curiosity taps into the minds of these unsuspecting individuals to see whether it's possible to strip away a person's free will and ultimately carry out a task that most would never think possible. Curiosity, which is the name of the series, is in its second season. And anyway, it's very interesting to see what's going to happen to this group of people. So you might be on the lookout for that. I'm sure they will tell us. But again, they are telling you now about brainwashing. Now, speaking of brainwashing, of course, you have to have a brain first. And here's a new campaign ad against Mitt Romney. Is that one a good one? Mitt Romney.
I would have thought of that one.
Mitt Romney, he needs brains. There is a new YouTube video out by Joss Whedon, if that's how you say it. And he is basically making fun of Mitt Romney, basically saying he doesn't have a brain. It's about a 2.5-minute thing on Mitt, who, by the way, his real name is Willard, and they're told us his middle name is Mitt.
What's worse, Willard or Mitt?
Well, but we don't really, again.
I would have gotten a third name.
I know, but I don't even know if that's true. And there's so much stuff. Again, I haven't seen the birth certificate. I don't know. Anyway, so one of the things that said, for example, like a lot of liberal Americans, I was excited when Barack Obama took office 4 years ago. But it's a very different world now, and Mitt Romney is a very different candidate. One with a vision and determination to cut through business as usual politics and finally put this company back on the path to the zombie apocalypse. And the whole thing is a parody about Mitt Romney and the zombies that he's going to be bringing back. He's talking about how the current economic ruling class will have nothing on those physically capable of surviving a zombie attack. He says the 1% will no longer be the very rich. It will be very fast. So anyway, he goes on and on and on about Mitt Romney. So if you want to see something that's, again, mind controlling and programming, be sure and find this on YouTube.
Oh, and by the way, this week on the internet, there's a guy who's an expert, or supposedly an expert, on the Bible code. And he says the Bible code predicts Romney would win the election. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
And that he's actually a very spiritual and God-like person.
Well, like I said, we'll see. And inside we all are, of course. It's a matter of what we do with it. Okay, then, I can't remember if I don't think you reported on this, but I know you and I have talked about this, the zombie alien planet you might have heard about.
I think I mentioned it last week.
Fomalhaut B, which is an exoplanet, suggests that the zombie alien planet is a planetary object and not dust, and that's why they're calling it a zombie planet, because it was dead, and now they brought it back to life.
It went to dust, and it came back to life.
Right, so anyway, and now, and again, another zombie world, it says they have a Halloween-themed video on the alien planet. So I looked at this again, and that's why are they spending money on these things? Obviously for implant or for imprinting. That's it. It's got to be. Then This one I'm going to talk to you about a little bit more in detail because, again, I think it's very strange. This is the zombie training that the military is doing on, of course, which day do you think?
Halloween.
That's right, on Halloween. It says, an untold number of so-called zombies are coming to counterterrorism summit attended by hundreds of Marines, Navy Special Ops, soldiers, police, firefighters, and others, who the others are, who knows, to prepare them for their worst nightmare. This is a very real exercise. This is not some type of big costume party, said Brad Barker, who's the president of Halo Corporation, a security firm hosting the October 31st training demonstration during the summit at a 44-acre Paradise Point. That sounds like another, reminds me of the first Assassinin thing when they went to Paradise Point, Resort Island on San Diego Bay. Oh, remember, but somebody told us what Janet meant.
What?
In Arabic?
Oh,
Paradise.
she who must be avoided.
Paradise.
Oh, paradise, yeah.
Paradise.
Oh,
We don't want to
it was one of
forget
the-
that.
Yeah.
We don't want to forget that. And this goes back to the code. Everything that will be simulated at this event has already happened. It just hasn't happened all at once on the same night. But the training is very real. It just happens to be the bad guys we're having a little fun with. Okay, now I'm sure that Brad Barker, who's president of Halo Corporation, is probably making millions of dollars off of this event. So, of course, he's going to tell you this is a very real exercise. Anyway, hundreds of people will observe the Hollywood-style production of a zombie attack as part of their emergency response training. In this scenario, there's going to be a VIP and his personnel trapped in a village surrounded by zombies when a bomb explodes. That sounds like a real-life situation, right? Mm-hmm. The VIP is wounded. His team must move through the town while dodging bullets and shooting back at invading zombies. At one point, members of the team are bitten by zombies.
This is the military.
This
now.
is not only the military, police, firefighters, everybody.
And so if we're ever attacked, these are the people that are going to help us.
Yeah, because we might be bitten by zombies.
That's really encouraging.
And then they have to be taken to a field medical facility for decontamination and treatment, because what am I going to say? Okay, I was bitten by a zombie. And they're going to know what to do at my local hospital, right? Because this is
but a zombie wouldn't bite you, he'd eat you,
well,
right?
according to this, they're going to be bitten. So, it says no one knows what the zombies will do in our scenario. Well, they just told you. Okay. He says, if a law enforcement officer sees a zombie and says, freeze, get your hands in the air, what's the zombie going to do?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to
moan. Anyway, so what's the point?
Well, it says he's going to moan at you. So now they do know. First they say they don't know what they're going to do. Then they say they do know what they're going to do.
So these people are trained to fight zombies.
Yes.
That's what the military is now doing.
Right.
And so are these the same people who will tell you Santa Claus doesn't exist?
I guess. But the other thing is, okay, here, if someone's on PCP or some other psychotic drug,
I think the military's on PCP.
it says the truth is he's not going to react to you. So, like if we're in an emergency.
Why are they being serious about this?
Yeah, this is the thing. Now, the keynote speaker before this whole event takes place, which to me sounds like major ritual work, former CIA Director Michael Hayden, who says, no doubt, now again, no doubt when a zombie apocalypse occurs, it's going to be a federal incident, so we're making it happen. So he's telling you right here it's going to happen. What does that mean? I don't know yet. So since the word got out about the exercise, they've had calls from every whack job in the world, surprise, about whether the U.S. government is really preparing for a zombie event. This is called Zombie Apocalypse. The exercise follows the Federal Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's campaign launched last year that urged Americans to get ready for one as part of a catchy public health message.
That's not what it was.
That was silly.
It was a programming trigger.
Yes, and now the Homeland Security Department has jumped on board last month, telling citizens if they're prepared for a zombie attack, they're ready for real-life disasters like, surprise, a hurricane.
Yeah, because zombies are real like hurricanes.
Right.
And so if you're prepared for that, you're prepared for real things.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense
Pandemic,
to me.
earthquake, terrorist attack, it's just absolutely amazing. Now,
Brilliant.
This San Diego-based corporation, Halo Corporation, I wonder who owns it. That would be interesting.
Halo.
That's right. Be interesting to know who owns that. I'm sure somebody that knows somebody somewhere. They've been hosting this annual counterterrorism summit since 2006. Now, Joe Newman, who's spokesman of the watchdog organization Project on Government Oversight, said he does not see zombie exercise as frivolous. So I guess, again, someone else we can trust. He says, we obviously are concerned about any expenditure that might seem frivolous or a waste of money. But if they tie things together, there's a lesson there. Obviously, we're not expecting a zombie apocalypse in the near future. However, this guy says we are. So this guy says we're not. But the effects of what might happen.
Smack me. What is that about?
That's right. That's programming. What might happen in people read 13 Cube because we talk about it in there. What might happen in a zombie apocalypse are becoming similar to the type of things that happen in natural disasters and man-made disasters.
I don't think so.
No. It says we don't have any problems with it as a teaching point. So this is the person who's the watchdog for the government. Then we have a defense analyst, Lauren Thompson, who also agrees that this is good.
We're paying taxes for this.
We are. The defining characteristics of zombies are that they're unpredictable and resilient. It's like, how do these people know?
I think the military is unpredictable.
That may be a good way to prepare for what the Pentagon calls asymmetric warfare. Whatever that means, they don't tell us.
It means things happening at all different times in different ways.
It says organizers can also avoid the pitfalls of using a mock enemy who could be identified by nationality, race, or culture. Something that could be potentially seen as offensive.
Ah, so maybe the zombies are Arabs.
I don't know. But anyway, it's very odd. This whole thing that they're doing, of course, on Halloween. So perfect ritual time, people. Okay, read my holiday blogging on the homepage because this stuff is, like I said, you can't make it up.
No, you can't make it up, and I wouldn't want to.
And this is our government, okay? This is who's taking care of you, supposedly.
Yeah.
And the watchdog who's taking care of the government, right? All right, then, back, well, let me tell you this other thing, because I don't want to forget these couple of things.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, well, remember, there's now a New York police officer, Gilberto Valle, who's arrested in a plot to kidnap women and cook them. So he had a list of about 100 women that he was going to do this to, and he used the New York police database to carry this information out. Okay, then, remember, also I wrote about this in the holiday blog. Why does everybody take their clothes off? We're seeing this all the time. People are taking their clothes off and doing all kinds of weird things. And when a police officer wrote in, actually Anthea Appel, I'm going to say her name because she has a book out about 9/11, which is actually very good.
She's a very smart woman.
And she wrote in, and she said to whenever that they respond to things, people were always naked. Why do they call the police? She said, and then take their clothes off. It's like if I was having company, would I take my clothes off?
Well, you have done that a couple of times.
Well, don't tell people. That's usually you.
Oh, maybe it was me.
Maybe it was you.
I can't remember.
So anyway, but people are doing that. They're taking their clothes off and calling the police. I mean, this is signs of programming, because what happens in programming? In programming, oftentimes you read about how people are naked, they're tied down to a table, all things are happening. So the program kicks in, and what do they say? Oh, that's right, I got to take my clothes off. And then they act out.
Because when they're programmed, they're naked.
That's right.
What happens.
Right, and so they're going back. Well, here we have a Jersey City man, who allegedly eats his own finger after stripping naked and defecating in a police car.
Well, they are convenient snacks because they're right there.
Isn't that disgusting? Okay.
You could have like 10 days in a row a snack.
Yeah, you could. And then think of the toes, if you can get those in your mouth. So anyway, then we have the general elections. And this I'm just throwing out there because, again, watch the public icons that are out there. And this has to do with all your singers and movie stars and blah, blah. Because they are out there for a reason, and they're setting trends. So there's a group from Michigan called I See Stars. And I never thought about this, but that could also be a programming trigger as well. Anyway, we strongly feel that the elections are all planned out and very corrupt. And this was like, ooh, really? On the internet. So